Hi, I'm Rosie.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And welcome to the 48th Valid Vibes podcast, where the vibes are valid because they are real and authentic.
Nice.
All right, guys. So,
it's a lot easier to do that with one person.
oh, for sure. That's why I was like, let me just say it. This is new, if you haven't noticed already, because Christina impulsively ripped down all of the leaves. Like, we were editing the podcast. I looked behind me. She's just, like, tearing down the wall. She was like, I'm so sick of all these leaves.
Oh, my God.
And she put this up the day after, and I get a Snapchat. I was like, oh. So,
that is very nice.
Yeah, this is our new wall. But anyway.
Christina couldn't be with us tonight. She's next to the camera.
Hi, Christina. Yeah. But anyway, so unfortunately, summer is officially over.
Yeah.
And most of us have to get ready for back to school.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I mean, I went in last week, and there were no kids, and I still felt like the ooh.
Oh, wow. You went in already?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you go in, you have that ooh.
Yeah.
I go in Tuesday. Oh. All right, whatever. But we're going to talk all about this today.
Yeah.
But to start off, as usual, we're going to start off with our valids and invalids.
Yeah.
Do you want to go
I'll
first?
go first?
Yeah, go
okay.
first.
Things have been good, honestly.
I love that.
Things have been, honestly, probably the biggest invalid is the fact that, like, and it's really, like, a valid too, but, like, just, like, the anxiety of, like, going into two new buildings at once. And I'll talk more about that, but just, you know, two buildings at once and having to adjust to two different cultures and, you know, like, two different workplace cultures. And then, you know, like, two different staffs, two different sets of kids. So it's going to be a transition. I've been in the same place for a while, and I got used to it, and I love and respect everybody there. And, you know, it's the unknown. So it's not even really invalid. It's just, like, the feelings I feel about the unknown.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I was actually going to say the same thing, but I guess my invalid is more towards my life being so boring. Like, this whole week, I did absolutely nothing. It was just me and my dog. And this weekend is Labor Day weekend. I see everyone going out, living their life, and I'm just, like, doing nothing.
Yeah.
But it's okay, honestly. I've become just such a homebody that I'm actually okay. Like, I'm accepting my boring life. It's very peaceful. So, invalid, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, peaceful is better than boring.
No, exactly. It's fine. Yeah. But, do you want to say you're valid?
Man. Yeah, I actually have a few valids.
Me too.
So I had a fantasy football draft this morning, and I have another one tonight. And actually, I think I came up with probably the best team name I ever have, and I made my own picture, and I was very proud of it.
Oh, what is it?
So I drafted two guys. One of them is Brock Purdy, and one of them is Brock Bowers. And so I found a picture of lobsters playing instruments, and I named my team Brock Lobster.
I saw that on Canva, and I was going to ask you because we share the Canva account.
I forgot to text about it. It was so impulsive.
I don't ask questions anymore. If someone's working on a project, I don't ask questions.
No, it was the equivalent of ripping leaves off the wall. Like, I did it, and I was like, yes, I need a picture. So I found it. I went to actually Google AI, which I didn't know existed.
Oh, yeah.
And they found the picture for me, which was super convenient because I looked it up for like 10 minutes and I couldn't find it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I also go away in 2 weeks. I go to Green Bay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice to look forward to. I have nothing to look forward to.
And football's on next week. So it's just it's good times.
You're right. Oh, my God. Times. Fall. Oh, my God. Yeah. I love the fall.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So my valid. First thing I want to say is that I retook my Students with Disability CST yesterday.
Okay.
And since this podcast is towards people, you know, that maybe want to go to school to be a teacher, you have to know all this stuff. So I'll say my, you know, intake on, you know, taking the test.
Yeah.
I failed the first time by 510, which is pretty good. Passing's 520. So I could have got it appealed, but all my professors said, like, by the time you get your test appealed, you might as well just study and take it again.
Yeah.
It is expensive. It's like over $200 to take the test, but you need it. So you need it if you're elementary, middle school, or high school. That's the, like, test everyone needs, you know. So I retook it, and it's very tricky. I'm not going to lie. For the people that are, you know, willing to take this test, each question, the multiple choice, like 2 answers could be correct.
Oh, it's select the best answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 90
Brutal.
multiple choice questions, and then at the end you're writing a 400 to 600 word essay. It is terrible.
No, it sounds horrible.
Oh my god.
What's the essay on? Like, it's on like a literature passage, or it's like based on personal experience?
Based on a student. So for example, I had a student named Richard, 16 years old. He has a learning disability. His interests are art, theater, and technology.
Okay.
What are his academic and behavioral needs? How would you address them? All that stuff. Okay.
But that's kind of important too. You know?
No, it's honestly good. It's fair, honestly, because you
Okay.
literally have to know that if you have a student with a learning disability in your class.
Yeah.
So it was okay.
Okay.
You know, but the multiple choice is tricky as could be. You have to read it carefully. And at like the 70th question, your brain is mush because you're staring at this computer for 3 hours and you're just like, you know, I can't.
Yeah.
But I retook it
rough.
and I'm pretty confident about it. But the plus side is for everyone that's planning to take the CSTs or whatever, the CST test, you could take it as many times as you want.
That's good.
So until you pass, which is really good.
Yeah. And that's only New York, right?
Yeah, this is the thing too. This is from New York. I don't know. Everywhere else is different. I do know New York is much more stricter than like other states, but it all matters. It all like what it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Anyway, my second valid is that I got a full-time sub-teacher position at Tottenville High School. So my old high school.
Yeah.
And I actually mentioned, I think in 2 podcasts ago, I was just like, I want to say that I'm just proud of myself for stepping out of my comfort zone because I'm very much an elementary school teacher at heart. I know it's like, I never thought that like I would have a full-time position in a high school.
Of course.
Right now I'm still a sub because I'm working on my certifications, as I said. But anyway, right now they have me in a CTE program, which is Career Technical Education for Academy of Finance. So it's me and Sierra. Shout out Sierra. She is more advanced in like finances, accounting, managing your budget, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what she studied. That's what she has a work experience in. And that's that. I have 3 classes, 2 business classes and an entrepreneurship class. So Tottenville actually opened up a program under the Academy of Finance for seniors for entrepreneurship, which is awesome.
That's
and
great.
It's everything I preach. Obviously me and Christina preach about like starting a business. So I'm very excited about that.
That's awesome.
Now, I also have 2 English classes.
Oh.
So I'm going to be 2 English classes and like 3 business classes. But as you were saying about walking into the unknown, I'll be like sleeping in my bed at night and it'll just hit me. I'm like, shit, well, I shouldn't curse in this. But I'm like, school starts this week and I have to lesson plan for 3 subjects.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For the whole year.
I feel that.
As I'm still in school.
No, I definitely feel that. I mean, not still in school part, but I get it.
Yeah, as I'm still like getting my master's. But right now I am certified for the Career Technical Education because we've had an LLC for over a year. That's really all you need. But yeah, guys, so we're going to talk about all this stuff about struggles about being a teacher, the stress and school experiences and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I've been a sub teacher for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been a sub teacher?
I was a sub para for a year.
Right.
Then I got my bachelor's, and I was a sub teacher for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, while I was sub teaching, I was also an intern under the school social worker.
Yes.
And now this year, I'm going to be a SAPIS. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had 4 different jobs in 4 different years for the DOE.
I know, that's the thing. There's so many different opportunities, though, and like being in the DOE system, which is really good.
I want to see what I'm going to do next, honestly.
I know.
Maybe I'll try custodian for a year, just, see how it goes, maybe.
There's so many things.
Yeah. Maybe
Especially
I'll do,
now.
Maybe I'll do 25 jobs in 25 years, who knows?
No, like, imagine that your resume is like...
That'd be hysterical.
Everything.
Print a book.
No, literally. But it's good, though, like that. You know, we got our foot in the door or at an early age, which is really good. But I never thought, like, I'm nervous. Not that I'm nervous to teach high school students, but it's very different. Because elementary is a lot more hands-on.
Of course.
you're raising these kids basically. They're in school more than they are at home.
Exactly. It's like having another set of parents and another set of governing, another governing body with another set of rules.
Yeah.
And it's your job to make sure that like it's rough because like you can do everything you need to, and then the kid goes home and everything gets undone, and the kid comes back. So
I know it's all about consistency.
Exactly. And at the elementary level specifically, I feel like it comes down to how much the parents are willing to work with what the school is giving.
Yeah.
And also how much they're actually able to, because sometimes it's not a factor of want. Obviously there are other barriers that go into that.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating. It's rewarding. It's
You come home with the best stories though in elementary. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I have stories on stories. That's what I'm gonna miss the most. Like elementary school is a handful. You're gonna be, they're gonna drive you crazy, but you're also like filled with so much like care and love for these kids because they're so young. But again, like 5th grade's a tough grade to teach.
This year was.
Oh boy, that is, I'm gonna say right now, 5th grade and 7th grade are my two.
They're monsters.
They are so hard to manage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I taught with Chris one day. We had a 5th grade class. We were both sub teachers for PS9. Shout out. And it was just very with me and my little voice. I'm like, stop talking, and Chris was like, stop talking, and I'm like, yes. Like it's so nice to have a male in the classroom to yell at the kids.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't want that to be my role. Like
no, I know.
And towards the end of the year,
but they listen to your harsh voice
for sure. And like towards the end of the year, when like once they graduated, like I was messing with them. I was a lot lighter with them.
Yeah, I know.
They were like, you were always this cool. I was like, yeah. I said, once you guys, if you guys could have been as cool as you are now, I could have been to school the whole year.
No, exactly.
And they looked at me like,
yeah.
It's like, well.
No, it's true. You respect me, I respect you. If you're not respecting me, a different monster's coming out. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And I don't want that to be my role.
No.
It's expected of you a lot, especially as a guy in an elementary school or schools in general, because there's not a lot of you.
No.
So, like that voice is really commanding and it is really jarring. And especially like when I had that role as a social worker too, like that really should not have been like something that the kids kind of equated me to. And the ones that I saw obviously didn't, because they see a different side of me. But like that nurturing side and then having to bring out that voice, it was a big juxtaposition. And a lot of the kids like were getting confused, especially the younger grades. Aww. And I had to explain to them. I had to be like,
so cute.
Like especially in the beginning, I was like, look, today I'm a teacher. I'm not a counselor. If you need something for the counselor, you write a post-it and we can talk about it when I come back, okay?
Yeah.
And they understood it eventually. Like they were able to figure it out.
Yeah, we all have our like tips for like managing classrooms. Yeah. I guess with mine, like as a sub, I'm usually like, okay, if we get all of our work done, we could play a game at the end, like please, and like they'll work towards that. Or if I always say this comment, like before you step into the classroom as a sub, the teacher warns you about certain students, like if they act out or whatever, and some tips and techniques to like calm them down. And I remember I had this one kid, and he got very frustrated and he would take it out on his classmates. And she told me, she goes, he's going to do that at some point, but you're going to start talking about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So he started freaking out. He actually hit a kid, which was bad. I had to take him outside.
Sure.
And he was going crazy. And I was like, what's your favorite dinosaur? And he told me. And he completely calmed down because he just couldn't stop talking about dinosaurs. He goes, Miss D, what is your favorite dinosaur? I said a T-Rex. He got mad at me.
T-Rex? Yeah, I'd be mad at you too. Why was he mad
I
at
don't
you?
know. I don't know. I know maybe pterodactyl, a T-Rex. I don't know that much.
No, why was he mad at you?
Because he said that was the most basic thing
That's
I ever heard.
why I was mad at you too. You could have busted out like a brontosaurus or a megalodon. You went with the T-Rex.
Yeah, listen,
I don't blame him.
Up in the moment, I got 30 other kids behind me screaming.
You didn't have time to think of your favorite dinosaur.
I didn't have time to have an intellectual conversation about dinosaurs in that moment. I'm sorry. But it worked. Listen, these tips and tricks, they work, okay?
No, 100%.
They work. But or also say, like, at the beginning of the class, I'm like, it takes one student to ruin it for everybody. Yeah. And you know what? If you're that one student, I'll hold up, like some random papers on the desk. I'm like, I got a whole bunch of work for you to do.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, especially as a sub teacher, like the two backbones of your classroom management are
Yeah.
bribery and mob mentality. And it's
No,
so
literally.
scary to say, but like
Mhm.
if a teacher doesn't leave you the right stuff, right? And this wasn't a problem for me most of the time because
Yeah.
I did work in two very good schools.
Me too.
But like kids want play. They do. They
Yeah.
don't get it with their teachers sometimes. They
I
want it
know.
with subs.
Mhm.
So bribing them with that, it works wonders. And sometimes
Exactly.
teachers even recommend, like, look, you need to bribe them. Like, you need to.
I know.
I've held snack hostage before
Oh,
in the
snack.
younger
Oh, I have a
grades.
funny. Yeah, it's funny.
I was like, look, I said, if we don't get this done, no one's getting snacked today.
No, they wait for snack. They're like, Misty,
Exactly.
you know, it's 10:15. It's snack time. I'm like,
Yeah.
you will eat your snack. I promise
Yeah.
you. There was actually one time I had to. I'll just say the story. I had this one student. She was 5th grade, and she was just wild. We loved her, but she was very different, unique, wild. She had her own perceptions, and students in the classroom would make comments about her,
Yeah.
and she was very sensitive. So there was one time that they were doing some group activity that I assigned to them, and a student made a comment towards her, and she got mad, and she was like, looked like she was gonna throw something. So I said, all right, blank, I'm not gonna say her name.
Yeah.
Let's go step outside. And I'll handle it. I had everyone else work on their group assignment. So she's outside venting to me. I'm like, okay, deep breaths in and out. I'm checking in on my class. So she's okay. She goes back inside. And all of a sudden, I just assigned snack time. I said, you know what? It's snack time because
Yeah.
they couldn't handle this group activity. 5th graders and group activities ends up,
No.
it's chaotic.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? It's snack time. So this student pulled out, like the Lunchables pizza making
Yes.
kit. She takes off all her belongings off her desks
Oh my god.
and just makes the pizza like on her bare desk, didn't wipe it down or anything.
Oh my
She's
God.
putting together the pizza, right? She has all of her toppings laid out. She has
Yeah.
the dough, and she's putting the cheese, the pepperoni, all the stuff, the sauce, in like the packet. And I'm like, okay, she's happy. She's eating her pizza. It's all
Sure.
good. I have calming music on, like on the smart board. So she made her pizza. All of a sudden, this specific kid made a comment to her again. All right, let's go back outside. Deep breaths, whatever. She's sitting there venting again. I peep in the classroom. Her pizza's on the floor. I'm looking at her. She's on the floor hyperventilating. I look at the pizza on the floor, and I'm like, I got to tell this girl that her pizza fell on the floor. And she's not in the right mind space for this right now. So I go in the class, and I said, what happened? The kid that made the comment to her
Knocked
dropped
it
the
over,
pizza on
yeah.
the floor. So now that's a report of bullying,
Sure,
right?
of
Okay, so
course.
I got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Now I got to tell her that her pizza's on the floor. When I told her, I thought she was going to flip the classroom upside down.
I would have.
And it was bad. It was bad. She the teacher that I was covering for, she had a meeting that day, and she saw her in the hallway, so she ended up like taking on her walk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I had the kid clean up the pizza. She
Good.
lost her, she lost it, this
Yeah.
girl. I felt bad. It was a hard day, but
No, that's crazy.
I know.
That's rough.
when I saw that pizza on the floor, I was like, it's over for me.
Yeah.
All the chaotic days as a sub.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
have
really
any,
about survival.
I know, literally getting through the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different animal in itself. And then when like you All right.
But you have a story?
Yeah, I have a story.
Yeah,
And
we
I don't
have
even, It doesn't even
stories.
make sense as a transition, but this is probably the craziest experience I think I had as a sub, and I think I've told this story on here like at least once or twice. But part of my new responsibilities, I'm going to be in a middle school.
Okay.
And when I was subbing, I did not have a great experience in middle school. Granted, again, every school is
It's tough.
different. Every population is different.
Yeah.
But I was working in the basement, and I went to, it was lunchtime. I ordered lunch. I went to the desk to pick it up, and I grabbed my lunch. I start to walk back, and then I double take because I was like, wait a minute. I turn around, and there's 3 officers. I don't know if they were school safety. I don't know if they were, police, whatever.
Yeah.
They have this kid, like, apprehended, restrained, and I look at the desk, and there's a knife on the desk. And this girl runs back towards the exit, and she's like, oh, no. She said, no. She said, I'm not staying here. You can't make me stay here. I'm out of here. I'm gone. And I looked at her. I said, realistically, is it my job right now to tell you to stay if you feel like your life is in danger? No, I wouldn't, If I had kids and somebody said that to my kid and something happened, I'd be beside myself. That's
Yeah.
not my job. I said, but at the same time, I said, realistically, right? what are you gonna do in this situation? What's gonna happen if you walk out? I said, how many officers are there? She was like 3. I said, okay. I said, so you walk out. You don't think one of them's gonna bring you right back here? She's like, yeah. I said, look. I said, unfortunately, these things happen, but they're under control. I said, you can't run every time something like this happens. Obviously, you know when to run when your life is in danger. They have the weapon. This doesn't seem like one of those times, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And she, she's calming down, and the AP walks by and goes, oh, if you're delivering food, you have to leave it at the desk. I just looked at her like bewildered. I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, I'm sorry. I'm a sub teacher. I was just diffusing the whole knife situation."
Yeah.
And she looks at us and goes, "Well, there's no knife." And she walked by. And we were staring at it. And
The AP?
What?
The AP did this?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it was the AP.
All right, whatever. Someone in an admin.
Some
there.
administration big person. And the girl looks at me like her jaw hits the floor, and my jaw's on the floor too. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say.
Oh
I'm a sub.
God, exactly.
I was like, I'm a sub. I don't know.
I have to say you're very good at like going to the student's level and talking to them like a human being and like getting them, because obviously they freak out a lot and they get all in their head.
Yeah.
But you're very good at being like, because growing up, I remember when kids would get yelled at or whatever, they don't explain.
Yeah.
Like they'll say yanked, something, and then like the kid's already pissed off, and you're just making him more mad. But like you're able to say, okay, you take an extra minute or two to hear them out, and address it accordingly, which is so important. Like that's advice too.
100%. And I think that's where the education system has really evolved in a positive way.
Yeah. Is
rather than just tell like adults saying because I said so, that's not really a thing anymore. Like, I feel like there's a lot more transparency. I know, and it still happens, but that transparency is so important. And my supervisor said something in a meeting the other day that was, like, so real. She was like, well, if a kid asks you, like, I don't know if it was my supervisor or one of my principals, but they were like, if a kid asks you, like, why is this important? Why are we doing this? And you can't give them a good answer, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Like, if we asked, why are we doing this? It was just because I said so, and do you want me to call your mom? Like, that's not an answer.
No,
that doesn't do anything for me. So I think that in that area, things have really evolved. And I think specifically, like when it comes to children with mental health disorders and children with IEPs, things have gotten a lot better. I was placed on an assignment not this year that passed, 2 years ago. I had a child, a 5th grader. We'll call him Tim. And Tim was like textbook ODD. Okay. He was... oppositional defiance disorder. Sorry, I assume everybody has a DSM brain. So Tim, like anytime you told him to do something, he would always do the opposite. He would get very angry, very explosive. And I know like explosive has a bad connotation. Like no, it was literally explosive. Like there's no other way to describe this behavior. It was yelling, screaming, flipping things, throwing things. Like that's explosive, no matter what kind of definition you look at it. Yeah. And so one time we were in a classroom, he was playing on his iPad instead of doing the reading, which I was told, let it happen, whatever. He's, and then he started to, show the class and distract them. I was like, look, I said, this is not okay. I said, I'm going to let you do it if you want to kind of like if you're going to keep it to yourself, Tim, that's fine. Yeah. Do what you need to do. But if this is the situation, like if you're going to start distracting everybody, I have to take it from you. Exactly. Like, oh, no, you can't take it. You can't take it. Now I'm going to go on it all the time. And I said, okay. I said, that's fine. You can go on it. You can go on it for as long as you want, as long as you don't show anyone. He said, well, now I don't want to go on it. I was like, all right, Tim. So if you don't want to go on it, you can hand it to me and I'll put it in your backpack. He goes, but now I want it. And he was going back and forth with me for like 5 minutes.
Oh, the patience you have to have, guys.
And the whole time I'm keeping a straight face. I'm like, look, Tim, I'm like, if you want it, give it to me. If you don't want it, I'll take it, I'll put it in your bag, and you can have it later. Yeah. But you just can't be distracting everybody. Yeah. And he looked at me and goes, why are you being so nice to me? I looked at him and I said, Tim, do you want me to be mean to you? He goes, yes, no, I don't know. I'm like, those are your 3 options, Tim. It has to be one of them, bud. That's funny, though. I looked at him, I said, look, I'm not going to be mean to you. I said, regardless of whether you scream at me at the top of your lungs, whether you, like, whether you think you want to hit me, whether you think you want to throw something at me, it's not my job. I said, my job is to be here with you, to make sure you get your work done, and to make sure that you're safe to yourself and everyone else. Exactly. I don't want to, I told him, I don't want you to spend the rest of your time here in the principal's office. He said, well, I do. I said, okay, so let's go take a trip. Let's go.
Oh, I love when you say that. I
there.
love you did that when we were subbing with the fifth grader.
Yeah.
What happened? What did he say again? I forgot.
Oh, that. So he
got himself into this situation.
Yeah. So
this kid. It was funny.
If there are any kids watching this,
yeah,
a message to you. If a teacher asks you if you want something and you say yes, you're probably going to get it. If it's a bad thing.
Yep.
Some questions are rhetorical. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just to say, hey, if you keep going, this is what's going to happen to you. So we were 5 minutes late to lunch. I was hungry because we eat lunch at the same time as them. Yes. You don't mess with an Italian person when they're hungry. You just don't.
No,
it
doesn't.
It shouldn't happen. It doesn't happen. And if it does happen, usually the fallout is pretty bad. So this kid, he was talking the whole time. He's saying things he's not supposed to. He put his hands on another kid. Sure, they're friends. Whatever. I was gonna let it go. They're friends.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it wasn't like it was anything crazy. And you know, I used my better judgment. I was like, this isn't worth blowing it up.
Yeah.
So I said, look, if you want, I said, Miss D could take the rest of the class down, and you and I could take a walk, and we go to the principal's office. Mm-hmm. And he said, sure. He said, sure.
So I ended up going in front of the line, walking the kids down to lunch as he was walking this kid down to the principal's office. And I just see them walking down the hallway
And together. I yelled at the kid the whole time. And look, I don't get like that. That's not the way I want to be. But
no, I know.
I told him, I said, look, I said, this is all you. I said, I want to be eating lunch right now. Now 10 minutes have passed. I haven't eaten my lunch. You haven't eaten your lunch. You're sitting with you're not sitting with your friends. You're sitting with the principal.
Yeah.
And she was in a meeting, so I had to wait for her. And she comes out. She's like, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Yeah." I explained it to her. I said, "You know, like I asked him. I said, does he want to come down to your office?" And he said, "Yeah." So here we are. And she said, "Great, thanks. I'll take it from here."
Literally, that was so funny. He said, "Sure," and then he's walking and I can't. He's walking with you to go to the principal's office.
Exactly.
I can't. I'll never wrap my head around. Listen.
No.
I'll never wrap around fifth graders what they think.
No, and
I have no idea.
It's crazy because if I even thought about saying something like that to my teacher when I was that age, my parents would have already beat me in my brain.
No, exactly. I don't remember.
That doesn't happen.
I say this to all my coworkers. I said, I do not remember being in school and having a kid acting like that. Like, whatever it is, you know, even if it's a little thing, I don't remember a kid in my class disrupting the whole classroom. I remember all of us, I remember if I would talk, because obviously I was a little chatterbox, but if I would talk to my friend in the class, they will literally hold a meeting with my parents after school, I pick up, and talk to them about how I was disrupting the class by talking, what I was doing.
Sure.
But these kids do the worst. I actually, the same class that we were subbing, I was there a couple days after. I just remembered, I think it was the same kid, he brought a weight to school. A weight. A very, very heavy weight in his backpack.
I was there.
Oh, right. Was that the same day? Or no?
Yes.
Oh, was the same day?
Yes.
I don't remember you being there. I took a
4-hour nap.
I remember now.
Day.
I remember because you were in front of the classroom and I was in the back. And I just saw him give something to his friend and his friend dropped it on his head.
Meanwhile, I'm dealing with another kid that's in crisis right now. It's the end of the year and I walked the student all the way around, you know, I've been outside with him at this point for at least 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just trying to, you know, diffuse the situation, just trying to bring him back to a state where he's able to have a conversation. And then
there was me on the side of the classroom, and he handed the weight to his friend, but it slipped. It dropped on the kid's head, so the kid was sitting on the floor, and he passed this weight to his friend, and the friend literally drops it on his head. The kid starts holding his head, screaming, crying, and this was at the end of the year of fifth grader, so it's
not
rare.
A kid that usually does that either.
No. So I had to walk him down to the nurse, and we were like, "What is this?" You go, "It's a weight," and they go, "What?" We go, "Why did you bring it to school?" And he goes, "Honestly, I forgot it was in my backpack." The thing weighed a ton. How did you forget that it was in your backpack? This is the thing about being an elementary school teacher. You need to have a lot of patience, and you're going to be dealing with multiple things.
Yeah.
Multiple. Behavioral is a big thing, and you can't even get through the teaching part about being a teacher and lesson planning.
100%.
And don't even try to plan the day, because good luck with that. It's never going to go according to plan. It's never.
Again, this is as a sub, you know, like obviously if you're going into a full-time teaching role, your experience is probably going to be different. You have more consistent contact with the kids, whatever, like that rapport is established. But as a sub teacher, yes, 100%. Like trying to plan the day, it's a futile effort.
Something's going to happen and throw things off. But I even remember as a sub teacher, like if they need a body somewhere, they're going to put you somewhere.
Yeah.
So I actually covered a suspended girl. Okay. She was in 3rd grade. And it was like me and her in this little suspension room, literally this little room with like a desk, me, her work on the desk, and like some games. And, you know, they told me if she gets her work done, she could work for playing a game. You know, she had like a behavior chart, and if every assignment she did, she worked towards playing a game.
Sure.
She was an angel. And I'm thinking, I'm like, this girl always gets whatever. This girl always gets suspended. Yeah. Why? I'm like, she's amazing. She's getting all her work done. She's very smart. Then her big reward was going to the meditation room. So she was able to go there with me and, you know, just vibe in there, I guess. That was her reward. Yeah. And she started like putting on and off the lights. Okay. And then I saw something change in her. Yeah. I don't know. She's not diagnosed with anything, but she wasn't listening to me. Flips, yeah, she wasn't listening to me. She turned into like a crazy child right then and there. I had to call the principal in. She was screaming at me. Oh my God. It was lunchtime then, right? Yeah. So that was over. They brought her to the office, and she had lunch with the principal. Okay, she does that when she's suspended. Okay. I pick her up from lunch. And I was like, okay, let's continue your math workbook or whatever. She stood up on the table, got in my face, and said, "You don't know anything." So this girl, from the beginning of the day, was a different girl at the end of the day. I was dealing with a demon. She was in my face on the desk, and people are walking by, and I'm like, okay, absolutely not. Oh my God. So I heard that this girl punches teachers and spits in their face. And I said, oh, no, not today. I'm not playing the nanny. We're not doing this. So I went to like pick up the phone and call the AP. She didn't answer. The security guard was there. And she, like, screamed at her. She was, like, scared of the security guard, whatever. Yeah. I didn't know what to do because it was literally, guys, this room was so small. I shut off the lights and went outside and was just, like, standing like this. Like, I just, like, put her in the dark room. Like, guys, it's tough. It is tough. God. Whatever. It's tough. That's all I have to say. Yeah. I just put her in that dark room, and they were like, Miss D, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, she's calming down in there. Like, I don't know what else to do. Praying the day ends soon. What do you want me to say? Literally waiting until 2:30.
That's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah. All right, guys. So instead of being so negative, let's talk about the positives about working in a school.
We always start with the bad and end with the good.
Yeah, so exactly. It worked out. Yeah. As a sub teacher, we have the privilege of meeting all different kids from all over, exactly, all different grades, and you're able to see, like, you know, where your strong points are if you want to pursue a teaching career, and
if you even want to pursue a teaching career.
Yeah, that's the thing too. But like, you get to meet all these people, like all these little kids, and I don't know, it's nice to get out at like 2:30. Also, that's a good benefit. Sure. You get out early. Summer's off. Yeah. We don't get paid as a sub, but as a teacher.
Yeah, it's nice to not have to worry about work in the summer. Like, obviously, you have to pick up a job if you're subbing, but, you know, once you get full-time and you don't have to worry about work, that's a nice feeling. And it's warranted, too. Like, I know people, like, oh, teaching's such a great job. You get the summers and the weekends off. Like, you need the summers and the weekends off. It's It's not, like, a cushy job. It's just not.
No, it's not. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of you're dealing, especially in elementary school, you're dealing with parents and kids.
More parents, yeah.
You're dealing with a lot.
100%.
It's a lot. Yeah, and it's all on you. Like, you have to plan everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're working for someone and you're under their belt and, you know, you have to do everything accordingly. It's another benefit.
I think it's just for me, especially, like, again, like, and I don't want to beat this horse till it's dead, but, like, there are not a lot of guys that work in schools. There's just not.
No, there isn't.
Like, there are more, like, we're seeing a bigger wave of that happening, which is good, because I genuinely think that, like, for children, they need to get both of those sides, both of like males and females, because certain culture, certain, certain kids, certain personalities, some of them need a man, some of them need a woman.
Yeah.
So, like at the end of the day, like having that flexibility and that choice, that adaptability is really important. For me specifically, like anytime I walk into a room as a sub teacher, as a guy, all the guys in the room get excited. Like they all look at each other like,
like that's my new brother. That's my new bro.
Literally, they just point. They're like, oh. I'm like, ah. I went to a middle school once.
Yeah.
And so again, middle schoolers, we know they're wild. It's unpredictable.
Very tough. Prime adolescent age.
Yeah, and I had an honors class. So I told them, I said, look, at the end of the day, it's close to the end of the year. Do you guys want to be doing Romeo and Juliet? No. I said, I don't want to be doing Romeo and Juliet either. So especially not right now.
I love the way you talk to the kids, though. Yeah. It's so funny.
And I told them, I said, look, I said, this is what we can do. I said, you guys have, because we do have to do some kind of English, to take out an independent reading book, read it for 20 minutes, and we can do it successfully. We can hang out. As long as we did some work today, and I could teach you something, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So they read whatever, they get their time, and this kid comes up to me and goes, Mr. Mazza, my friend listed my house on eBay for $12, and now I don't think I'm going to have a place to live. First of all, 8th grade honors. This is the best of the best. This is the best of the best.
No, literally, that you could get in a middle school for sure. Yeah.
And I look at the kid, I said, okay. I said, so where's the problem? He goes, well, what if someone buys my house? I said, look, first of all, if your house was available for $12 in this economy, I would have taken out my phone, I would have bought it, and I would have put all your stuff in a box right on the curb. I said,
no, literally.
I said, but that's not how the world works.
The things they say.
And so, because of that, because they couldn't control themselves after this conversation, I sat them all down. I said, look, now you're quiet. And now either you're going to listen to me talk to you about the house buying process, or you're going to sit down and listen to me talk to you about Romeo and Juliet. And they all shut up. And we learned about all the intricate steps of buying a house.
That was good.
It's first of all, it's a better lesson than Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, for sure. You have to improvise as a sub also. You do.
But this poor kid literally was coming to tears. He was close to tears because he thought that someone was going to buy his house, kick his parents and him and his siblings out, and live in it.
He was fully convinced.
All because this kid took a screenshot on Zillow and listed it on eBay for $12.
But who thinks of that either? Like, that's funny, too.
Middle schoolers think of that.
$12? Exactly. That's such a random amount.
It was ridiculous. I told the kid straight up, I said, look, I would have bought your house if it was available for $12. I said, do you know what a house goes for? He's like, no. I said, okay. I'm going to keep it that way because I want you to hope that one day you could buy a house.
Oh, I hope I could buy a house for $12. But the things you have to deal with, like, for example, he raised his hand and just brought that to your attention. Right?
Exactly.
You have to deal with it. With me, I had this, like, second grader. He raises his hands and goes, Miss D, I feel like the Titanic just hit an iceberg in my stomach and I'm going to explode.
That's a beautiful like picture. Like, not that it's a beautiful picture, but that's poetic.
Exactly.
That is a beautiful way to describe a terrible situation.
Terrible stomach ache. So I stopped the entire class and I said, okay, I forgot his name, Christian. Do you have a stomach ache? Do you want to go to the nurse? Do you have to use the bathroom? What would you like me to do for you? He said, I think I have to go on a walk. I said, okay. I had the para take him on a walk. But just the things, you'll never, ever be prepared for the questions or
yeah. And I think that's part
anything.
Of the benefits, honestly, because it is so much fun.
Walking into the unknown.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said before.
Exactly. And when you know you're only in the unknown for a day, it is so much fun. Because if it's bad, you can get rid of it. And if it's good, it was a great day and you have a ton of stories.
Exactly. I always have a story.
You're not bogged down when you're a sub-teacher, like to one specific class. Because if you're a teacher and you have a bad class, but you're a permanent teacher, you were stuck with them for 10 months. And the same way, if you're a teacher and you have an excellent class, you have the privilege of teaching them for 10 months.
I know.
As a sub, if I have a class that I didn't like, I was done with them. Mm-hmm. I have one day, and then every day's a new day, you know?
Exactly. Every day's a new day.
Exactly. But just, especially I feel like with the older kids, being able to talk to them and have conversations with them.
Yeah.
And also, even with the younger kids, like when I first started, when I was a para, I had a kid, like he like we were just doing Fun Friday, whatever, and he looks at me and he goes, "Mr. Mazza, how old's your grandma?" I said, "Sure." I said, let's do this. I said, and let's call him Jimmy. We got Timmy and Jimmy.
Okay.
I said, "Jimmy, how old do you think I am?" I was 20 at the time. He goes, "Mr. Mazza, I think you're 16. I said, "All right, 16? Jimmy." I said, "I'm 16. Sure." I said, "How old do you think my mom is?" "I think your mom's 34. "All right, sure. 34 sounds like a good number. Yeah, my mom had me when she was, what would that be? 34 when she was 18. She might have been a reality star,
really?
for sure. No, according to Jimmy. My mom didn't have me at 18.
Maybe I have to be evaluated.
So then I asked Jimmy, I said, "How old do you think my grandma is then?" And he said, 33.
They have no idea.
He's like, "Wait, what?" I said, "Jimmy, you think that my grandma is younger than my mom?" I said, how would that have happened? And he turned over and he was like, "No, wait, I didn't mean it.
No.
He's like, "No, Jimmy." I said, "We're done here."
These kids are so obsessed.
I went back to him like 2 minutes later, but he was hysterical.
These kids are
I was
so
hysterical.
nosy.
Yeah.
Like he's asking all these questions.
He asked about my mom. He asked about my grandma. I was like, "Jimmy, how do you know I have a grandma?"
Exactly.
You have a grandma, I'm sure.
That's so random. Yeah, literally so random.
I was so like, those are the moments that like when you're sub teaching you really hold on to, like when you get to just have fun with the kids. Like there's a lot less pressure on you as a sub teacher. Yeah. Which really opens up the avenue for a lot more like lighter work and lighter interactions, which I think is definitely the best part. Yeah. It's something that I think in my new role I'll be able to kind of transition into because I won't have as much classroom stuff. It will be a lot of groups and stuff, which means I will get to have more fun with them. Obviously there's a curriculum. Yeah. But it's not like there's the expectation of me that like I have to get their academic performance up. I need to get their grades up. I need to improve behaviors. And the best way to do that is build a relationship, and the best way to do that is to have fun. Exactly. And to be vulnerable and to kind of be transparent too. And those are all things that with my style work so much better than it would if I was a teacher. For sure. And like I knew going in like I'm not meant to be a teacher. I'm not. Yeah, but you're very good at handling situations and managing like the classroom environment. Thank you, and I appreciate that. You really are. I think that's why I kind of my skill set lended me to the role I'm in now. Yeah, for sure. And I kind of get the best of both worlds where I still get to teach, but it's more like when I teach for maybe like it's almost like subbing if you think about it. Like I push into one class once a day, and then I don't see them for another week. So like, I'll have a lot of different lessons and curriculums, but I'll only be with one class once per week. Wow. Yeah. That's good though. It's awesome. Now with me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous. Not that I'm nervous, but like I did sub-teach in the high school, like towards the end of the year, because I said, you know what, why not? Let me get my foot in the door, because maybe, you know, I'd want to teach entrepreneurship. And my life would just make sense. My life would make sense. So what I did was like, I would stay in the principal's office every day after work. Every day after work, to the point where I was like annoying the assistant principal because she was just always in meetings. And I go, it's okay. You know, I'll sit here until this time. And she was able to meet with me. I had my pitch ready. You know, I said that we live in different times now. I said these kids need to understand how to use social media marketing professionally and effectively. And I also said how they also need to know entrepreneurship is an option. Yeah, and good for you. We never, ever, ever were taught that you could start your own business. No, we weren't even taught about trades. You're always taught, exactly, you were always taught to work under someone else. Yeah. Use your skills to work under someone else. Exactly. Go to college, get a job. Why? Like, listen, make your passion a paycheck. One thing about me is, like, the quality of life is so important, and if you love something, you make time for it. But your job and, you know, your life gets too crazy, you're not going to have time to do that. But listen, if you're making money off it and you manage your time effectively, I'm very big with managing time. Especially as a teacher, you need to learn to manage your life, manage your time. You live your life in 45-minute blocks when you're a teacher. Yeah, no, that's true. No, literally, you do. True. But you have to, anyway, whatever. I tried, and apparently, you know, I got an email on August 15th that they want to hire me as a full-time sub and that they opened up an entrepreneurship program for seniors. And listen, it worked out. You just never know.
And again, this is out of my comfort zone. So, like you're saying that you could bring all your traits to your new job for sure.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience in elementary school, and I'm not going to lie, I was very, very good at what I did.
Yeah.
But I do not have experience in high school. When I would sub-teach in high school, no one showed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
No one showed
now you're
up.
gonna have a class, but you're
Yeah.
gonna have a class of kids that want to be there,
Yeah.
which
that's
also
true.
makes a difference. You
I
know, like
know.
we're taught that, and this is a social worker. Obviously, it's different.
Yeah.
But you can only help someone as much as they want to be helped.
Exactly.
The same way you can only teach someone the same amount that they're willing to be taught. So before you even start teaching, you have to find that drive to make kids want to learn.
Yeah.
In your case, some of them already have that because they're choosing your class. Like your class isn't a mandate. It's
You're
not.
right.
The English, I mean, God bless. But, you know, like for
But
your...
the English I like, because I remember, like, whatever, we would read a book, maybe, come to class, answer questions, okay.
Yeah.
But I could do, like, for, like, the do now in the beginning of class, something fun, like a personality
Yeah, of
test
course.
or, you know, things like that, vocab. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know, I got to, obviously, there's a curriculum,
Of course.
but
Live by the...
yeah.
Don't, you know, live by the curriculum, but don't die by the curriculum.
That's good
probably
advice.
the best advice that I've gotten since I started my job.
Wow.
Yeah, like,
No, you're
obviously
right.
incorporate the curriculum. Make sure that you hit everything you need to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be so heavy on the curriculum that you lose, you know, like you lose your class. Like at the end of the day, like the curriculum is there to serve you. You're not like a servant of the curriculum.
Yeah. And I also mentioned that my strong point is writing. I'm very good at creative writing. I always was.
Yeah.
But now they took that away
I know.
in high schools because of AI. Now these kids are always, even
It's so
in
true.
elementary, there's really no such thing as pen and paper anymore
No.
unless you have a worksheet. You
Yeah.
gotta pray they got a pencil. I really doubt they have a pencil. They're always asking you for pencils.
It's true.
But like these high school kids, they're always, you know, they have their computers, they have their iPads. So if they're told they have to write an essay, they're gonna go on AI and write the essay. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they took that away. But I gotta figure it out. That's all. Listen, I gotta take it day by day for myself. This year's gonna be a little crazy.
That's it.
But I think the first year of teaching is the toughest because then after that, not that
You
like
have
you're
a
going
reference
by
to
the
go off
same,
of, yeah.
not like you're going by the same exact lesson plans, but
No.
you basically have your templates
Yeah,
and you
you're
could
not-
work with them.
You're not going from scratch.
No.
It's definitely
Yes.
like you're going off something you've already done and put thought into, and you've already
Mhm.
ran it once, so you know how to make adjustments. And obviously,
Yeah.
every class is different, so every adjustment you make, is it going to work? Maybe, maybe not. But
Yeah.
you have a frame of reference, and it's definitely a lot less intimidating. And you have experience in year
Exactly.
2.
I'll figure it all out. Listen,
Yeah.
I trust the plan that God has for me because I don't know. You never know.
No.
I
Definitely
really
not.
thought I'd be an elementary school teacher, but a lot of high school teachers said that to me. Because everyone's going to start off in elementary,
Yeah, of
you
course.
know?
It's the,
yeah.
it's the best place to get experience.
For sure. Oh, you'll get experience, all right.
Yeah,
You'll get a lot of experience.
100%.
All right, is there anything else you want to share or?
I just want to say that, like, you know, like, I know we've said a lot of things that were,
I know.
like, negative. We also shared positives.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, at the end of the day, what you make of it. I've even, like, from those negative experience, I've gained so many positives, like, just learning and, like, even learning things like I didn't handle this the right way.
Yeah.
And I've even apologized to kids. I'm like, look, like, I could have handled this better. I said, you also could have handled it better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to say that I'm the only person, you know, like, in the
Yeah.
wrong. You also made a mistake. I said, but I also could have handled this better.
Yeah.
So through those negatives and just through being transparent, you really learn a lot. You have to want to be willing to kind of look into yourself and reflect. I'm big on reflection. I feel like I say it every time I'm on here. But reflect and see what worked, what didn't work. Why did this upset you so much?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, cherish the positives. Try
Yeah.
to shake the negatives off as much as you can. And just remember, even a child that is acting out is still a child that needs you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're doing it for attention, and sometimes they'll do it to you specifically because they trust you and they know that no matter what, you'll come back.
Yeah.
And that's really important because sometimes they don't have that at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also have to take into account that these kids, again, are with you more than they are at home.
Yeah.
You know, and just understand that they're also just trying their best. And listen,
Exactly.
like, whatever, you could only do so much for them, but just
Yeah.
try to hear them out. That's it. Like what you would
Exactly.
do with the kids, hear them out, respond to them like an adult. They have to understand their words have meaning. Like because kids are very impulsive too. But that's a good way to manage them. Because that's honestly the hardest part about being a teacher is just like classroom management, and it's so consistent. It's
the backbone of all teaching, specifically sub-teaching, but in general, all teaching.
It has to be consistent because they're in a routine, and once you mess up the flow, which is another thing with sub-teachers, I always try to get their consistent routine as closely as I can, because there's going to be those kids like, oh, Miss D, we usually do like math before English, and the whole day's messed up, and they because their brains are just so used to going to the routine every single day. So advice for a sub teacher, try to get the routine down pat. Like, try to. Obviously, you're not going to because it's your first day in that classroom.
Yeah.
But routine is very important for the little ones. Very. Especially special education.
Yeah. And just enjoy the ride, too.
Yeah.
It's a ride. It's a trip.
A ride.
It's definitely...
It's El Toro at Six Flags.
Yeah. It's
You're going to break your neck, your back.
Exactly. It'll whip you around. But there's a reason it still exists, and there's a reason that no matter how many times you get your neck cracked or your back whipped, you still get back online and you still do it. Like, it's rewarding, it's challenging, it's frustrating, it's exhausting, and it's great.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the teaching aspect this year. I mean, obviously, I have a new role, and I'm excited to see what challenges and what struggles that brings.
Yeah.
But, it's definitely, was very valuable experience. I'm thankful for it 100%.
Me too. I'm so thankful for all the opportunities I was given. Like, my first teacher job was at PS42, which is where I went to school, and when I walked into the main office, they were like, Rosie, welcome home, because it was all the same people. Literally everyone at PS42 was everybody from when me and you went there. Me and Chris went to elementary school together. That's so funny.
I was carpooling with Nicole, and our second grade teacher went behind us as we were signing in. He goes, I had the both of you at the same time, didn't I? We're like, yeah. She goes, oh God, I'm old, and she walked upstairs.
That's when they know that like, they're old, when they see you working with them.
You know what's scary is now that I had that experience of like working like in the place where I was a student.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, which one of you would I not want to walk through that door in 15 years and be like, oh, look what, Mr. Maz, I'm going to be working with you today. I would just bash my head against the wall.
I know.
And some of them, I'm like, honestly, you might do a better job now than some people are doing. So.
No, literally. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap up this podcast. But before we hop off, we just want to show you our back to school shirts where we should have mentioned them in the beginning.
Yeah.
But we celebrate minds of all kinds. We launched these in August in honor of autism awareness, but listen, it's all year round. So they're still on our website. You could use the code podcast. And we also have shirts for the little ones. It says I am, and it's a whole bunch of affirmations, which is really cute for them to wear to school. And it also is like a confidence booster for the first day.
Yeah.
And it's really cute. And you want to talk about bingo night?
Yeah. If you're watching this Wednesday, that means Friday, September 6th, is NAMI Bingo. It's the second time that NAMI is doing it. It was a great success the last time. Mm-hmm. All it costs is, I believe, a $15 gift card.
Yeah.
And then you get to win other gift cards, which is great. It's fun. Yeah. We had a great turnout last time. We'll be there. Mm-hmm. We have a table, so if you guys want to check out our merch, you can do it. And remember, a portion of all proceeds go to NAMI. So it's a really great opportunity to make a difference, have a fun night out, and just, get more involved in the community. Yeah, it's at Holy Rosary on Staten Island. We have the flyer posted on our Instagram. Yeah. Another thing that we are doing this month is on September 23rd at 7 p.m., we're going to have a suicide prevention fundraiser. Woo! So September is Suicide Prevention Month, and in honor of that, we're hosting this fundraiser, and we're donating all proceeds to the National Alliance of Mental Illness, but on Staten Island, because we give back to our community. But this time... So how our fundraisers work, if you don't know, is you have to donate at least $10 to be eligible to be entered into a wheel where you can win unlimited prizes, guys. Yeah. So our last fundraiser, people are winning like facials. 6-7 times. A lot of times. Like embroidered hoodies, facials, Dunkin' Donuts gift cards.
dog leashes, t-shirts. It doesn't end.
Yeah.
So these were donated from small businesses, but this time around on September 23rd, we actually got gift cards from a whole bunch of Staten Island businesses like restaurants or nail salons, and you guys are going to get a little percentage off. And it's just, giving back to the community again. So make sure you're following our Instagram, because we go live on Instagram. Our Instagram's Valid Vibes Co. So if you don't follow, go follow right now.
And we believe in, when you do good things should come back to you.
Yeah.
So it's our way of saying thank you for donating. I believe last year we raised, $2,500? Something like that.
Something
right?
close to that within an hour or two. About $2,000, which was crazy.
We would love to do more than that. Obviously, NAMI is very appreciative. Everything we give to them comes right back to our community.
Yep.
So it's a great cause. Donate if you can. And if you can't, spread the word.
Exactly.
If you spread the word and somebody donates, it's just as valuable as you donating.
Yeah. It's all a good cause, guys.
Exactly.
All a good cause. And we give back to you for donating for a bigger cause. So we really appreciate the support as always. But I guess that was it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Okay. Don't forget to stay real.
Stay authentic.
And stay valid.